Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jetsetting cruise video. Today I wanted to compare two private destinations in the Bahamas owned by the cruise lines. I'm talking about Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at CocoCay and Carnival Cruise Line's newly opened Celebration Key. They're both located in the Bahamas. They're both awesome options for your next cruise vacation, but which one is just better? We're going to discuss a lot of different topics about each destination today and see which one is the winner. We're going to talk about location, accessibility, island activities, food and drink, the culture, and give you a final verdict at the end of the video. If you love cruise content, please subscribe to the channel or at least like this video. It really helps me out. We have lots and lots of cruise content coming your way, and I really appreciate it. So let's get started. So first, a little bit about each destination. Perfect Day at CocoCay has been owned by Royal Caribbean since the 1980s. It is a fully private island, meaning there are no other ships or any other public areas of the island. It is wholly owned by Royal Caribbean. And then in the last 5 or 6 years, Royal Caribbean has dumped a whole bunch of money into making CocoCay that much more amazing for its cruise ship passengers. For one, a few years back, they added a pier that can now fit 2 vessels. So no longer do you have to tender into these private islands. For the most part, there are still a few that require that, but they're quickly changing that because it is such a customer-friendly option just to be able to walk right off the ship onto the pier and get your day started. These ships are also a little too big for tendering now, so it makes a lot of sense to have the pier. But in that process of redoing the island, Royal Caribbean has added dozens of new activities, some for free and some extra charge. We'll get into that in a little bit, but just know that CocoCay is its own private island. Now, Celebration Key opened in July of 2025, and it's located on the island of Grand Bahama. So it is not a fully private island. There's the port of Freeport that a lot of ships still dock at, a little bit further west of where Celebration Key is. Celebration Key is basically in an undeveloped area on the island. Really gorgeous beaches. Basically, you could think of it as a private port on steroids with a lot of free activities available to people just for Carnival. But you are still able to depart Celebration Key and take part in shore excursions on the rest of Grand Bahama. So a little bit different than CocoCay in that regard. Now let's talk location for both of these destinations. CocoCay is going to be located sort of in the center of the country of the Bahamas. It's going to be pretty well protected from weather, though winds can kick up sometimes and people sometimes miss the port because it's just not safe to dock in there. But it's going to be basically due east of Miami, whereas Celebration Key is going to be facing away from the open ocean on the island of Grand Bahama, so a little bit further north. Both very easy to access, so I'm going to give both islands, both destinations a tie here in terms of location, and then accessibility is going to be similar. So CocoCay is owned by Royal Caribbean, so you have to be on a Royal Caribbean or now a Celebrity vessel to dock at CocoCay. So that's one thing to consider. If you want to visit CocoCay, you have to be on Royal Caribbean or one of its sister brands that are docking there. So right now that's just Celebrity, and it's going to be one of 2 ships in port at that time. So there's just room for 2. They don't add any more. And with how much money they're making on the island, I bet that is in the plans to expand a little bit. But for now, just 2 ships in port. Celebration Key is owned by Carnival, so you have to be taking a Carnival cruise to be able to dock at Celebration Key. Now, if you're interested in shore excursions away from Celebration Key, that's not exclusive to Carnival. You could be on any cruise line that's docking in Freeport to participate in that, but Celebration Key's activities just going to be for Carnival ships at this time. So far, Princess and some of the other sister brands have not announced any plans to dock at Celebration Key. So right now, just Carnival and just 2 ships in port. On my first visit to Celebration Key, we were actually the 3rd ship of the day to visit there. So 1 ship left and we took their spot. And they are already expanding the pier, so I think they're going to be able to host 4 ships all at once here at Celebration Key. So I think accessibility has to be a tie too. You just have to choose the right brand that visits the island. Right now, Celebration Key, I think, has less overall itineraries that are visiting her versus CocoCay, which seems to have a lot of ships coming in each day. It's pretty rare that there's only 1 ship in at CocoCay nowadays. So overall, a tie, very easy to visit. You just have to pick the right brand for the destination that you want to go to. So let's talk activities. First, we'll talk free activities and compare the two. CocoCay has a lot of free activities. They are organized into neighborhoods. So you have the chill zone, which is a very chill beach. You have South Beach, which is a little bit more energetic. There's a lot of different lounge chairs throughout the entire destination. There's the Oasis Lagoon, which is a pretty large pool, one of the largest in the Bahamas, though Celebration Key has taken that medal for sure. There's also numerous different sports courts with basketball, beach volleyball, some pool soccer combo, lots of fun stuff for guests just to have a great day, cornhole, things like that throughout the island. Now at Celebration Key, you have a lot of similar activities. You have a gigantic lagoon. It's the largest man-made pool in the Caribbean right now, so that's going to be very popular. You have lots of complimentary lounge chairs around the pool complex, and then you have a lot of very impressive sports courts. You have several different basketball courts. You even have a full pickleball court. That's the benefit of opening late into the pickleball craze, is that you're going to have a designated pickleball court right here at Celebration Key. You're going to have 2 beaches, so lots of free options available at Celebration Key as well. Now, when you dive into the paid activities, that's where things definitely differentiate. CocoCay, being a little bit more mature, has a lot of upcharge activities that may make your day pretty amazing. For one, there's the Hideaway Beach, which is the adults only area that opened back in 2023, I believe. And so it's a awesome opportunity for adults just to pay a pretty nominal fee. It's usually less than $50 just to get a kids free experience. It's not gonna have the best beach, but it does have a protected lagoon as well as an infinity pool. So a great option for the adults on Royal Caribbean ships to enjoy there. You have Thrill Island, which is the very, very impressive water park. It's got some of the tallest water slides in the entire world. They're very intense. Lots and lots of different options here. They have a wave pool. They have rock climbing that you can fall into the pool. Lots of different kids activities. They have cabanas that you can rent. Lots of complimentary lounge chairs once you do get access into Thrill Island there. And then you have Coco Beach Club, which is available to the entire family. It's a much more upscale experience. Has an infinity pool overlooking the water, has a lobster lunch and grilled steak, and lots of just more luxurious, more laid back day. Does get a little pricey there. And then of course you have cabanas throughout the entire island, including these overwater cabanas that can go for beaucoup amounts of money. Has their own slide that slides into the ocean. Lots and lots of fun there. And then lots of shore excursion activities, like you have up and away balloon that you can take a helium balloon, or is it? Yeah, it's a helium balloon that's tied to the ground there, and you have some good views. If it's running, it does get closed because of high winds often. You have snorkeling, you have different glass bottom boats, you have jet skis. So the whole 9 yards of a fun beach day at CocoCay. And you have a lot of the same things at Celebration Key, though a little bit more limited. For the adults, you have Pearl Beach Club, which I have not yet entered. I will visit on my next visit to the island. Pearl Cove is going to be a private adults only experience with an infinity pool and beach area. It's going to be similar to that Coco Beach Club over at CocoCay. You do have an unlimited drinks option available there. And then you do have water slides on the island as well. There's just 2, and it costs $15 per person for the entire day for unlimited water park rides, water slide rides. So overall, that's the big upcharge attractions here besides the cabanas. They have a lot of different cabanas surrounding the entire lagoon. So those are going to be a little bit lower priced than what you find over at CocoCay. Just keep that in mind. Then, of course, you do have shore excursions, both hosted by Carnival at Celebration Key. You have parasailing and things like that. Or you can head off of Celebration Key over to the rest of Grand Bahamas and go and visit more of the culture, I would say. So overall, I would definitely give this to CocoCay. There's just a lot more to do. Felt like there was just not a lot to do at Celebration Key on my first itinerary there. We did arrive late in the day, but if you're not a massive pool person, if you're just a beach person, there's just 2 beaches available, and you're going to be facing the ship the entire time, which might be your style. Other people may want kind of a more pristine, more unadulterated ocean view from their beach chairs, and that is available on CocoCay. So just overall, 2 really good destinations, but I do have to give CocoCay the edge on this one. So on CocoCay, you do have a lot of complimentary food options available to you. You have 2 large buffet areas. You have handmade tortillas serving tacos. You have your typical burgers and hot dogs. The food on the island is quite good. And then you have lots of different complimentary snack shacks. They have the chicken sandwich that's pretty famous. You can make a mozzarella and chicken sandwich as sort of a secret menu item. So a lot of good complimentary food options available. Your drink package from the cruise ship does work on the island as well. So that's a big benefit for having the drink package for an itinerary that actually ends up at CocoCay. Celebration Key, the biggest criticism I have heard from people, and I gotta back them up on this, is that you only get one meal per person once you are at Celebration Key. There's no free buffet that you can just come and go. If you order something from one of the food trucks, then you have to basically choose whatever entree, and that's gonna be complimentary. Everything else is gonna be an extra charge. So it's a little bit of a bummer if you get something and it's not really quite to your liking. You're kind of out that free meal and you have to pay extra or head back to the ship for that free meal. Your drink package also does not extend over to the island. So your cheers package that you have on board is only going to work on board. This is consistent with how Carnival operates its other islands as well. But it is a little bit of a bummer that you're having this great pool day and you have to pay extra for drinks. And the drinks are pretty pricey. They include taxes and gratuity. So it can definitely get up to close to $20 per drink if you're getting those fancy cocktails. So I definitely have to give food and drink over to CocoCay on this one. Now let's talk culture, which has definitely been a trend I've noticed in some recent island openings. We saw this over at Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point from Disney. And now at Celebration Key is the inclusion of the Bahamian culture, which I think is really, really awesome. On CocoCay, you're not going to get a ton of Bahamian culture. Once you step off of the pier, usually they have a band playing some awesome Bahamian music. You have some dancing going on to welcome you to the island. Besides that, it's just going to be a Royal Caribbean created experience. You're going to have a few local beers that maybe you can try, but no real local Bahamian style dishes at the buffets or anything like that. Now at Celebration Key, I think they did a really good job of bringing in Bahamian culture. For one, everyone who's working, or many of the people that are working at Celebration Key, are actually from Grand Bahama, because you have an island of folks that are wanting to work. So it's created a lot of local jobs, which I think is awesome. So you can talk to local people about their lives and things like that and get a little bit more culture than over at CocoCay. They have an awesome Junkanoo parade going on once a day as well. Makes a lot of noise. I happened to stumble upon it during my walkthrough video, and it was really great to see, really colorful, a lot of fun. And then a lot of options are available via shore excursions, because you can actually leave Celebration Key and go on a local shore excursion. You don't have to book it through the ship, you can book it locally. So that's a great option for people that do want to get out of the cruise line invented environment and head over to go experience how people really live in Grand Bahama. So that's a great option. So I do have to give Celebration Key the notch on culture here. Overall, I think Celebration Key just does a way better job of this. So let's give the final verdict here. And it's not going to be a surprise here. CocoCay is definitely a better island. It's just an overall better experience, I think. Having a full private island just for you and maybe one other Royal Caribbean ship, a lot of included food, your drink package working on the island, I think just makes for a much more stress-free day. Even though Celebration Key does have a lot of things going for it, like the amazing looking lagoon, you also have the ability to go off campus a little bit and do some shore excursions, and has some great culture elements to it. I do think that CocoCay is just going to be a much more fun day on your cruise vacation. For me, it just comes down to not feeling nickel and dimed, and I think that CocoCay does a great job of not doing that. Of course, you do have some extra charge options. A lot of kids are going to be a little upset if they are not going to that thrill water park and the parents haven't sprung for that. But besides that, I think you can pretty much skip the adults only area or Cocoa Beach Club and still have an amazing day on the island. And you can of course do that on Celebration Key as well, but you're going to be paying per drink if you're someone who drinks, or even just buying a soda or water. And then also just the food is just going to bring a bunch of stress, I think, to anyone who's maybe used to a different private island experience from a different cruise line, or even some of Carnival's other islands that include a buffet once you get on shore. So that should about do it for my comparison video. Do you agree with me? Do you not? What are your thoughts? We're going to be doing some more of these comparison videos throughout the next couple months, just seeing maybe what cruise line's island is going to be the very best, the absolute king. So let me know in the comments, and thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.